Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to another YouTube channel everybody. I'm so excited to have Philip back together again, and in today's video, we're going to be doing Loki Season 2, Episode 4. If you guys know me, I liked last week's episode, but there just was something about it that just did not tickle my fancy. I liked Episode 2 because we got some time to spend in the alternate timeline, but we got to spend some time at the TVA, which was nice. So we got the completion of both. With this one, it was just in that alternate timeline with Victor Timely and everything. And while I appreciate seeing Victor Timely's character, I just kind of wish we went back to the TVA a little bit, because it's an interesting place to be in, even if just the character interactions were good. But I watched this episode hoping something would go, especially since fourth episodes in Marvel series are known to be really good. So, and it was quite good. So let's talk about it. And I thought this was a great, but also better episode than episode 3, where basically it just the plot is simple, where Episode 3 had it was a simple plot. Loki and Mobius trying to get Victor Timely to come back to the TVA so they can fix the loom. But you had Ravonna Renslayer doing all this stuff, and then Sylvie coming into the mix, and it just kind of didn't work for me. This episode had a simple plot where all the characters come together and are trying to fix the loom. That's the whole point, and even Sylvie joins in. But then it plays into this other thing where Ravonna is trying to take over the TVA, and she does some pretty despicable stuff as she uses the machine that was going to kill Brad. And you also realize that room is filled with other prisoners, and Ravonna kills all those prisoners except Brad. And some other fun things in this episode, just little antiques of Victor Timely being interested in trying hot cocoa for the first time, and then Sylvie getting mad at Mobius because he wants to get key lime pie while they wait. Like, it's fun little details like that that makes it great. But here's where it gets really great, as you get to the ending of this episode, where basically we find out that we find out what that future thing was that Loki saw, this image in the future of Sylvie coming out of the elevator and poking out, and then he gets pruned. But we don't know who pruned him. But we realize, and throughout this episode we see a scene that looks familiar from the first episode, and we realize this future where he was at, this is the future that he was talking about, that he was watching. And he pruned himself to make everything work out. But you gotta remember, when he got pruned, Mobius was in the suit, and everything was fine, and the time was fine. But now, Victor Timely went into the suit, and the radiation levels are high now, and he goes out with the suit and runs, and he just turns into noodles. Everything that OB said about turning him into noodles, that's what happened to Victor Timely, and he died. And then we get a brask of light, and the episode ends. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? Did they die? Like, what happened? Like, did the universe eradicate? Like, is Kang officially coming? Like, what's going on? And honestly, I'm like, how are you not, like, how can you not save this? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, is the TVA done? Like, what's going on? Like, huh? So, I personally loved this episode. Now, I don't really have many gripes on this episode. It probably seems a little bit too long. Like, the story seems a bit, like, there's probably a couple scenes they probably should have cut out. Like, and choosing going back and forth with the prisoners. But I think besides that, it was a pretty great episode. Probably the weakest of the best of the great episodes in this series of this season. But overall, it was still a great episode. And honestly, it's like this is I was hearing a lot of reviews this weekend that says, when you don't know what happens next, that's the best thing. But at the same time, like, if I can piece together what's gonna happen, like, if I can find easy predictions as to what's gonna happen, then I'll be okay. If I don't know what's gonna happen, then it's hard for me to tell where it's gonna happen. Like, when we got Across the Spider-Verse, I had no idea as to how the movie was gonna work, because the story I didn't understand the story of it, but I watched it. I ended up loving it. Is it better than Into the Spider-Verse? No, but it's still somewhat good. Yeah. But we're not talking about Spider-Verse, we're talking about Loki. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Loki Season 2, Episode 4. Before I get my final score, please down below. What are your thoughts on Episode 4 of Loki Season 2? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? What are you guys in between? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. With that said, let's get on my scores. Alright, so that's it for my scores. Thank you guys actually not thank you guys so much for watching. We have one more thing to do for you in this video, and that's to talk about my theories on the future of this series as well as the MCU. So my big theory for this show, as for the next episode, I heard that we will be seeing Mobius ride his jet ski. But as for the MCU, my big theory is, so here's what I thought. What if some of these past MCU projects, they've been different, and they've been different ever since Loki. What if one of the big things everybody's been talking about is they don't mention the events of Eternals with the hand sticking out of the sky, which is kind of a major deal. But at the same time, it's also like, what if the Eternals movie didn't take place in the actual MCU timeline that happened? Like, it took place in a different timeline where everything happened the same, but it happened different. But except because the emergence happened and Loki, the Eternals became part of an alternate timeline. And the same could be said for like Shang-Chi and Moon Knight. Now I know Moon Knight met some of the Avengers, but like, maybe because Wong's becoming the new Sorcerer Supreme, he probably has access to these alternate Earths. That's my guess, I guess. I don't know if it makes sense. But hey, it would be cool to see like with these alternate Earths, we could actually get like some alternate heroes. Like, that's the fun of the multiverse. Like, we could get new people, new stories, fun told stories. That would be really cool. Anyway, that's my theory. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you would like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.